Morning, Craig.
Morning, Rob.
Dan James back. First time that you've been able to select him in your 4 games so far. How much does he bring to this squad, do you think?
Yeah, a lot. Especially the way we look to go about how we play really adds to the group. Outstanding player, like a player I really like. Been unfortunate with his injury that we haven't been able to use him over the past 4 games, but really excited to have a player with his quality and his speed to add to what we've already got.
And of course, he sort of celebrated it with a cracking goal on Saturday for Leeds, which he's done for Wales as well.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed watching him play for Wales, but I believe in the way we play as well will really suit his type of profile. He definitely, as a coach, suits my type of profile. He's a real menacing player, real speed, real high intensity. He definitely adds to a mixture of players we have in those areas with really good quality as well. He just adds again, which allows us to hopefully be able to keep intensity, keep making runs in behind. So that freshness of being able to move players and change players as well at times, he gives us another option, which is doesn't allow us to have to change as much the way we play. We just like for like, quality for quality.
Ruben Colwell back. You and Matty Jones have both made it clear what he had to do to improve on. Has he done that now, would you say?
It's still a long way to go. Still a long way to go with Ruben. I know Ruben really, really well. And I speak to him quite a lot as well. So we're both clear on what we see for him, what he expects from his career and where he is right now. We both agree there's more. But I would definitely agree over the last number of games, his intensity has moved up. A lot of the habits I haven't quite seen. I feel he's trying to put into his game, and if he keeps on that track, he will add. But I see different areas for Ruben as well. I don't just see an attacking player. I see an overall footballer that can be used in different roles as well. His engine, his volume of running is more than his high intensity, which is a different part of the game as well. So with Ruben, I don't just see in the front lines. I see him being able to play deeper as well. But you need a bit of help with that. But I probably have a little bit more of an indication with Ruben because the years I've seen him, since a 12-year-old boy, I've watched his development. I've been a part of his development. And he's a player I would have expected more. But we all develop at different stages. We all have different moments. Like my development really come probably around about 22. So he's a similar age, so he's at that area where maybe he can push on really now.
And say he's still quite young, isn't he, for a footballer?
It's only the question I ever get asked is here about Ruben. No one else, yeah. I never get it anywhere else.
He's still quite young, but does it show to other players that where you say you've got to improve on this, that if you do it, he will catch your eye. That player will catch your eye.
I honestly believe so many good footballers are littered everywhere. I always see good footballers, and I believe we all do. We can go to any park now from here, and we'll see a good footballers. They're quite easy to find. But it's the habits, it's the intensity, how much do they offer your team when you don't have the ball. That's really important, because if you lose that, then you can lose a big part of your game. like I do like to judge players without the ball. It's really important to me, and like that's the part of the non-negotiables I really look for, because you cannot make our team weaker without the ball. That just can't happen. We have to be really, really strong without the ball. Then it'll allow us to be even better with the ball. Then, and when I see players able to add to the team without the ball, then I believe their ability with the ball will shine even more. Then,
Last one from me. Very quickly, Ollie Cooper missing, a blow for him and you. But also, I've got to ask you about last night, Harry Wilson's 2 goals. I don't suppose you're surprised, but what did you make of that?
I was there. Yeah, I was there. Just got back this morning. So yeah, no, just great to see him involved. I've mentioned it on numerous occasions. You know, a player I've been really impressed with, but his attitude as well. And like we were just saying, and you know, of course, the 2 goals yesterday, and of course, the contribution he's given us in 4 games. But I love him without the ball. Like, he's real. Like, his smartness and how he's able to press, his intensity of what he's able to do, really tells you how good a player he really is to me. I'm a huge fan. So, yeah, what he was able to do yesterday was, you know, it hasn't been I would probably say it hasn't been as easy for him, because every player would like to play. Look, I do not pick teams. I never get involved in any type of situation, who should play, who not. It's up to the club. It's their choice. But to me, you can see he's been working hard still, because players don't have that type of impact if they're not ready and they're not professional, and they don't conduct themselves in that manner to be able to make an impact like he does. Tells you he's a serious professional as well. So credit to him. Over the moon for him.
And Ollie Cooper? Quickly.
Yeah, really, you know, so disappointed for him. I believe he's really progressing as a footballer. I believe, like with Ruben as well, there's different areas you can use Ollie. So yeah, it's a real big shame, but you know, we're checking with his rehab as well. So speak to Luke quite a lot. We need to just keep his confidence up. He's going to be involved for Wales for a number of years. It's just a setback, but that's all it is at the moment. It's just a setback for him.
Hi, morning everyone. Just going back to Harry, you actually spoke after the Montenegro game about Harry's overall influence, but I'm just thinking over a longer term is just, we only look probably short term, but maybe over the sort of last 18 months, 2 years, has Harry just gone to a completely different level of player that he was on the pitch, working off the ball, attitude, as you say, away from actually playing games as well? Has he just completely almost just pushed himself to another level over a long period of time now?
Of previous or the future coming now?
Everything's just coming.
I got to be honest, I haven't seen as much the last 18 months. Obviously, played against him last year. Seen his quality then close up. Seen his numbers, which was quite impressive as well, which really which took us back. It's like, how's this little kid running so much and sprinting so much? It was elite. It was elite level. So that was really impressive. But he look, I was there when he made his debut. It was my last game. Felt he was a kid who was going to come through and have a big future for Wales. I believe he's done that over the last number of years, and you know, at this present moment, for us, for Wales, for myself, he's been really outstanding.
I just wonder as well, is, you know, you've, with Rob's question and mine, just how challenging it is for a player when clearly he wants to be playing more minutes, as you say, not your job. And even Marcus Silva, I think last night, said, listen, I feel for him. I wish, you know, want to see more of him. But how challenging is it for a player when they are not getting the minutes they want, they think they deserve, to actually have that attitude to just work even harder on the training pitch? I suppose it's a part of players that we don't necessarily see much, how they work harder just to keep on going to get that break.
I imagine it is hard. I'd imagine it's definitely frustration, frustrating, sorry. And there's obviously going to be a level of frustration from a player, but surely it's life. Sometimes it's not going your way. But it will only change if you work hard. And I honestly believe if, like IG must have heard me say this so many times, because the time we spent with each other doing Q&As all around the country, we were in North Wales on Saturday. And I honestly believe if it's going to change, it'll only change if you work hard. Now if you down tools, trust me, if it does change, you do get your opportunity, you will not be ready to take it. But if you keep working, you keep believing, when it does happen, you see what you've seen last night. That's to me that's a professional. Like, those moments don't just happen by luck. You force your way in somehow, but those moments you're ready to take because you train hard when things are not going your way, and that's football, but also I believe in general in life. That tests you as the human being. Who are you then? Then you'll see the real professional, you see the real individual then, because we can all moan and we can all sulk, but where's it really ever going to get you? Instead of knuckling down, working hard, believing it will turn. And in football, it will turn. The amount of games you play, you will get the opportunity, but are you going to be ready to take it? So you're going to work harder when you're not playing, when things ain't going your way. Now, we have a number of players in that situation at the moment, and I have to be honest, in my time working with the players we have, they're not just a great group of players, brilliant personalities who love being involved with Wales. They're really good professionals. They're really good people, really humble people, hardworking. So that's where you never really see me complaining. I don't moan about players not playing. I do not get involved in it because I can only tell you about what I see. And what I see of players, okay, if they're not playing, they're going to be fine still because they're working. They're working. All right, it's not the ideal scenario of playing, but they're doing the work. I've not seen a drop off in any training session I've had with them, and I've certainly not seen that in the games they've been involved with.
Craig, just picking up on that, when you took the job, and I think before the first camp, you spoke of a short-term plan, creating an identity. Four games in, the camps that you've had, you've just spoken there about the players just love playing for Wales. You've got that. How far along on that sort of short-term journey of creating that identity that you are? Because I suppose in a way that never stops. I just wonder how far along you are on your blueprint.
I have sort of a blueprint. I probably have a lot of things in my head I don't communicate. I have a longer term as well. I definitely have a short term. But I have to, is it gone better? Probably. In the space of 4 games, there've been 1 or 2 periods in games. I see that as completely normal for where we're looking to go. Do I believe there's going to be difficult times? Definitely. Maybe they could have happened earlier. All right, it hasn't, but are they around the corner? Maybe. Am I prepared for those moments? Definitely. So you just try and, I think we all know, I think everyone in this room knows, we've all been involved in this game. You're never as good as they say you are. You're never as bad as they say you are. So you just try not to ride that roller coaster. Try and stay middle ground. We progress in. And the clear part, I believe, I don't know, you guys maybe, I'm probably obviously biased, probably more to this, but does it look like to you guys that we know what we're trying to do? And I believe that's for the supporters as well. What's it look like? And I believe that's where you see a team. Now, it's the type of coach I want to be. does it look clear from when you're watching from the side? Are we aggressive without the ball? Are we compact? Are we narrow? Do we try and win the ball back when we lose it? So our reactions, are we on that straight away? Now, do we create a plus in build-up? Do we create a plus in the attacking final third? So all those allow you to create chances. I think we're second in the Nations League of creating chances in the whole of it. I'm surprised you didn't know that, Geraint. Germany were ahead of us. And man, with your stature, which I keep telling you, I think I believe you're better than what you believe you are.
Can I get my stat list?
Yeah, please. So, and that's, as much as, I talk about possession, but it's to create chances. It's to create efforts on goal. It's to win the ball back, to be able to give you those opportunities. And that's what I wanted for the players. That's why I talked about identity very early. I wanted to really make that clear. We did as a coaching staff, that was the key messages. We try and stay consistent in the messages we give. And yeah, like you guys will be more in the know of that than what I do, because obviously I'm going to be biased. I feel it looks clear to me, and I'm really happy with that. And it's just to maintain that and to improve it.
Listen, I know you've said it, but you're far more comfortable just talking about football. But this is Football Radio. It's about you, because you are a well-known person. Four games in to your tenure as the number one, the Wales manager, a job you coveted. Simple question: how much are you enjoying it? Because it's been some time now, and I know we've asked you a few times, how's it gone? How was the emotional thing? How was it with the anthem? Yeah. But I suppose settling in now, how much are you enjoying, or not? What's the good and the bad?
What do you reckon, IG?
I think you're enjoying it.
Yeah. How good's it been?
Brilliant.
If you enjoyed it?
I have enjoyed it.
Yeah. I have. Do you know what? Honestly, it's been amazing. Honestly, it was like Saturday we were in North Wales doing a Q&A, and we try and travel everywhere, and try and we're big on grassroots, and we want to invest and we want to help them be able to raise money for, I don't want to go too much off track, but I see AstroTurf pitches everywhere. Before I didn't see them. There was a field. Now there ain't many fields to go and play football anymore. So to actually go and play football for a young kid is expensive for a parent. Local clubs, it's expensive. So we sort of had this idea of, well, let's go and do talks wherever we can, help the local clubs be able to raise money for themselves, to help then young kids be able to play on AstroTurf pitches that it's not always coming out of their local clubs and the parents' pockets, because I believe football should be free. Now, this is me. Trust me, it's not like that's my view. And I believe in this role, if I can help do that, then, travelling 4.5 hours on a Saturday up to North Wales to talk for an hour to 2 hours, then travel 4.5 hours then down to London, and then week and a half before that we were in West Wales and Cardigan, and then we've got another, so we just keep trying to help football in a country that we all adore, but use the game to be able to benefit a lot of children, because it's not about trying to make everyone footballers, and it's not that. It's we believe football's a real big tool to help a lot of kids socialise and maybe impact in a positive way. And I believe this role is really allowed me to be able to do that, and I'm really grateful for that. Like I said before this, I'd like to think I might be a decent manager for you guys for the next few years. I might not. But one part I will be very good at is helping football from a grassroots level in this country, which I adore, by the way, that I'll be able to give in a positive way, and hopefully the next manager is able to follow suit from there.
Craig, sorry to drag you back onto our football topics, but Joe Roden could pass 50 caps.
Yeah.
How important is he to what you're trying to achieve in terms of the way the team is playing?
Yeah, he's a really good player. I know you must get fed up with me saying every player like is, but I do believe that. I've always been impressed with him. Remember when he first went to Spurs? I remember when I was going to go into Oxford, I wanted him on loan there straight away. He's from Swansea, so I was fully invested in Joe from a young age. Watch his development. I really like. He's a really good player. The amount of caps he's never won at a very good age. I'm still going to play for Wales for numerous years. Another player who's got a lot of caps under his belt for his age. The importance of him with how we play and his role as a leader within the group has been hugely impressive. So delighted for him. I believe the team. I believe the squad. Now, if we were to lose Joe, we do have good players. Meps is outstanding. Cabango, I thought, was brilliant last game as well when he came in. So we do have a lot of cover in these areas, which talented footballers as well. So, but Joe's, he's to get 50 caps at his age is well deserved, and hopefully that continues.
And Jordan James seems to be struggling at the moment to try and get himself into his side and make that transition in France. Have you spent any time talking to him in between camps? And
yeah, a lot of conversations. It's always difficult for a young kid. I'd say a young kid, of course it would be, but anyone who moves to a different country, it was the same with myself. First couple of months. You're picking up different languages. Mine was a little bit different. It was Belgium, so there's about 5 different languages. So that was different. But just a different way of doing things, even simple things like food. Eating can be a little bit different. We're a little bit rigid in how we eat. So I learned to eat a little bit later, where 5 o'clock meals were a thing of the past, and they even are now. I say that I've got back into that now. But so learning that was, and he's such a talented player. Rennes is such a good football club. It's brilliant for development. We had the same with Jeremy Doku when he went from Anderlecht, when he went to Rennes as well. It took him a little bit of time as well. All right, we had 1 or 2 injuries here and there, but then he took off. And JJ's just in that period of, he's still a young kid. It's a big move. But he's in really good hands. He's at a really good football club that develop young players and progress them. And I'm sure he'll be one of them as well.
And just one final one. Yeah, Mr. Kumas, what have you noticed his development this season for Stoke and sort of over this period, playing in the Championship?
Yeah, a hugely talented footballer. He for me, his habits need to be better. I want to talk about habits, it's reactions. When you lose the ball, react, win it. When the ball goes long, goes over, get back in. Because you've got a better chance the ball landing to you, then you're going to be unmarked because their defence won't come up at the same time as you, so you'll have space, be able to turn. So just working on these aspects of his game, I believe will be able to help him in the future, because as a footballing talent, he has it all. As I say, as it all, I feel like but speed, could drop the shoulder. He could lose you in a phone booth. You ever been in a phone booth? You got to be a good player to be able to do that. Yeah. So, he's a player with really high potential, but he's in that bracket where I like to bring in high potential as well. So I use a few spaces for that area for the high potential. And he's, I believe, being involved in the environment will help us in a number of years to come.
Hi, Craig.
Hi.
You spoke earlier a bit about, obviously, how some players aren't playing as much as you'd like at club level. Obviously, I know that's out of your hands, but for players that aren't playing as much for their clubs, do you find that when they come, with Wales, is it easier to get more out of them because they kind of come in with a chip on their shoulder, or kind of something to prove, or do you think it's vice versa? They come in maybe sometimes with a bit of like their heads dropped a bit because obviously they're not playing as much football as they'd like to.
No, they've. I've got to be honest. Like I always felt, even myself, when you go into an international setup, but no matter what's going on club wise, it's actually a break sometimes. Like different messages, you're preparing completely different for what you're used to week in, week out, or sometimes twice a week within a club environment. Sometimes the break can be really beneficial to you as well. It's up to us to be able to send them back in really good shape and really good hands. That's a responsibility we do have, because we're borrowing the players. They're not ours. We borrow you. So we have to be in real good communication with the club. So we have all their training data to us. So the ones who are not playing, we're fully aware of their load, what their regular week looks like, which weeks they work, like which days they work hard on. So we try and keep to that. So we don't expose them to something completely different and put them at risk. That's just not common sense. But yeah, I've got to be honest, they've been like really positive. I understand maybe one or two who are not playing. It's a great moment for them to, like, they're really fresh and ready to play. But I got to be honest, like, as a group in general, it's not uncommon for a national team like Wales to have a lot of players playing at real top clubs, and week in, week out. That's always been the case when I was involved as well. So we've been able to manage that, I believe, for a number of years. It's a scenario we've always been quite used to. It's not always ideal, of course. But it's the work you're able to do with them when you have them in such a short space of time. But they're, like, I've got to be honest, I don't know whether it's this generation or it's just what players are getting taught. They're good pros. And I believe the work that goes on at clubs, of course, like I said before, you can't replace playing. But the training work and the training knowledge of coaches now and the data that they expose them to allows them to really still be in really good condition by the time you get them. And it's worked. We've been quite fortunate where we've had 2 games every month. So we've had, we'll get to November now in the space of 3 months, 6 games. So probably playing on a regular basis like we have at this period is managed to probably give them game time that maybe they're not getting at their clubs, but it's allowed us to be able to maintain their game time as well.
And just one last one. Obviously, Ethan and Aaron aren't in the squad again.
Yeah.
We know that you want to obviously be aggressive without the ball. You want to be brave with the ball. Not having 2 players like that.
Not brave. Take responsibility. Brave. There's different ways of being brave. I don't believe wanting the ball is a bravery. It's like, take responsibility.
Yeah. But would you say not having them 2, especially in midfield, is that difficult for you to obviously try and implement your style of play, not having obviously 2 big players like that available?
No, I like Sheehan. Did you watch the last game? I thought Sheehan was incredible. I believe the way we play and how it's perfect for his type of profile. Joe Allen is able to give us that experience, but also that elite level. Like, I could show you things from training that even just his body movement, shoulders open, scanning. When you look at someone like JJ, just watch this. What you got to do, and that's worth its weight in gold. I can show you and tell you, but when you see a real incredible footballer showing you like just habits, that allows you to accelerate quicker. Now, an Ethan Ampadu, for instance, like he's a huge player. Like, it's probably one area, if you would have said to me, you don't want an injury, is there. Like, I literally lost about 3 nights of sleep when he got injured. Honestly. I was at the Oxford-Burnley game, 41 minutes. It was like, when you get those moments you remember? I'm like, oh no, because I know he ain't gone off. This kid, if he goes off, something's happened. Because he's tough. He's everything about him is just impressive. How he commands stuff, and we were working on little bits of his game, and I'm sure it's stuff he's heard before. But do you know when someone only needs telling once? And then you could see him doing it again. And then I watched him play against Cardiff for Leeds, which he just dominated the game. It was like, I don't like to use the term, so I'm not going to say it, but it was just so comfortable for him. He run the game. You couldn't get near him. But watch how his body was. Watch how he's like, ball moves there, he's open. Ball moves there, he's open. He's already scanning, looking. So the next pass, then he can go forward. It was like, wow. Well, anyone's going to miss him. Anyone's going to miss him. But we have to deal with it. We have been able to deal with it. And we will continue to do so over the next 2 games. But that type of player and a Ramsey, like I honestly still believe, and I even more so after watching him, he has a good couple of years, if done right, in him, because his brain and even how he dips in and out of being able to press. I'm not expecting him to sprint, but watch his movement, how he's able to, how he uses his feet. Now, you'd always tell a lot about football, how they use their feet, how they're quick and bump, bump, like, and you'll see bad ones as well when they're not using it and they're not, and that's where you get hurt and that's where you leave gaps. When you see Aaron able to still do that, and then obviously the eye for a pass, the run, timing, you never lose that. That's where I say, and I believe he still has a period of really good football that he's still going to be able to offer us. So, of course, that's a loss as well. But, you know, the idea of having a squad, and I've tried to use as many players as I can because I believe in them. I like being able to get to see him, like your Cullen's really impressive, Mark Harris really impressive, like Sober's been outstanding. So, like, there's a body of, there's a group that have been exposed, that I honestly, I got a good idea what team I'd like for the 2 games, but I feel I've got that luxury when I'm able to, like, there, move, there, he goes in. And the likes of Shees and, you know, they've come into that frame as well now with Ethan being out. So when Ethan does come back, it just puts us in a real good position. A real long answer, sorry. Matt.
Hi, Craig. Just one from me. Obviously, the Nations League doesn't come with the sort of jeopardy of a qualifying campaign. So as we go ahead to these last 2 games now, I just wonder what the significance of them is for you personally in the context of what you're trying to do here.
Every game. It's serious. You know, this is like, I really enjoyed the Nations League. Of course, I do have a, you know, World Cup qualifying campaign. It's so important, and rightly so. We're never going to, like, I'm not going to shy away from that. But I honestly have to believe every game we set out is to win. And the same would be Turkey. You know, we're going here to win. Now, what's the best way we're able to go and do that? How do we have to look without the ball? How do we have to look with the ball? Different stages of the pitch, how do we look? Maybe one side we're attacked a little bit differently to what we attack on the other side, just due to the habits of how they do certain things. So we have to be really adaptable. But the key aspect of this whole campaign, say like with the 6 games, was how adaptable can we be through these 6 games? How many shapes can we change into? How many shapes can we change into without the ball, with the ball? So the players, we build up more of a library, we build up more of an idea of if they go to this, we can go to that. So it becomes automatic, which will give us a head start then when we go into a World Cup qualifying campaign. Because I believe the best teams are the ones who are able to adapt. And it's not going to happen. There'll be certain parts, certain games we quite haven't adapted quick enough to the situation that was happening at that phase, which I see as normal. But due to this 6 games, hopefully we would have had a lot of it ironed out to be able to go into an important qualifying campaign.
Obviously, Craig, in terms of the goalkeeper, you've been, obviously, Danny Ward and Carl Oliver sharing the kind of responsibility so far. Are you any closer to identifying who's going to be the number 1 goalkeeper for you in the long term, thinking with the World Cup qualifying coming up as well?
Do I have to have a number 1?
No, I guess you don't.
So, best place. Who I feel is the best team. plays that game. Now, do I need a striker for that game? Do I need a winger for that? I don't look at it that way. I've never, what I feel, maybe we need a different side player for this or a different area or different quality of that. Now, like Nico Williams has played 5 different positions because he can, because he's that good. Now, goalkeeper, if they show you a little bit more down one side and actually right foot or left foot might be better there or this area here or they impose this, I believe different qualities, and we sort of get sidetracked into, well, it's got to be a 1. Got to be. It doesn't have to be. It really doesn't. And I don't look at it that way. And it's not to me to be confusing and the players know it. It's, whatever we feel the profile for that game suits the opposition, like suits us for the opposition, how we want to go and win, is the profile we use. That's just been a case. It's not trying to be confusing or trying to give share game time or anything like that. It's just for the opposition. I treat goalkeeping the same as I would treat like a forward or a winger or a 6. It's what suits that certain situation or that certain opposition who we're up against.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Diolch yn fawr. We'll break out for